Good morning. Welcome to Walmart.
Shut the fuck up, you cunt!
It is a beautiful fucking day, a beautiful fucking morning. I hope you guys are seizing that motherfucker and fucking it in the ass or whatever you need to do to make sure you feel like you took today by the nads. Okay, I got coffee. God damn it. And I got a quick little story. Once again, this is the usual. I tell fucking stories, but I got a little story I want to tell about the time me, my mom, and her stupid fucking boyfriend, we all had a Walmart to ourselves overnight. So yeah, get the music going. Go ahead, get the music going.
Who is that nasty?
Zach will kill you and fuck your bitch.
People pay $1 million for one drop of my sperm.
If you were paying attention, you heard that right. We had a Walmart to ourselves overnight. Now, this was quite some time ago, back when me and my mom used to be like a little criminal duo, you know, running from the law and everything. I think there was one point me and my mom both had several warrants together, and we were, you know, evading the law. We were running from the man. And I couldn't have thought it was cooler at the time because I was just a child, 14 years old, running from the law with your mom doing illegal shit all the time. Now, for legal purposes, before I tell this story, I'm in no way incriminating myself or anybody that was involved. This is just a story. You take from it what you need. You believe it, you don't believe it, it doesn't matter. I'm here to simply entertain and hopefully make you laugh a little bit. So, now that that's over. So my mom used to have this boyfriend named Shane. Shout out Shane if you're listening. Not her fucking boyfriend, but the other homie. The homie Shane. Anyway, she used to have a boyfriend named Shane. And basically, we just used him, I guess, for what he had. And what he had was a car, which we didn't. And he had it was a 1975 Cutlass Supreme, all white except for the leather top. Dude, it was badass. It had fucking racing wheels. It had, you know, big fat wheels in the back, smaller wheels in the front. It had a 450 or a 350 rocket or something like that in it. Crazy fast. Wood grain steering wheel, all black leather interior. That thing, that's where my infatuation with Cutlasses come from, is because I used to drive around in that one all day and technically live in it for a short time. And what the fuck was that? Sorry guys, my computer screen kind of flashed, and I'm assuming that's going to be an audio dropout. So anyway, but yeah, I'm infatuated with Cutlass Supremes, mostly the earlier 70s models, just because of that time in my life. I spent so much time in the backseat of that fucking car, it's ridiculous. And I also spent a lot of time driving the car. Really quick, like there was this one time, me and my mom went over to one of her friend's house, and her friend lived way out in the woods in Port Orchard. She had like her own little property, long dirt driveway to get to her house. It was really cool and laid back. We went there to get some weed for me because my mom's usual plug wasn't coming through. So she was like, I'm going to get you some chronic. Let's go here. And we went to her friend's house. I got a big fat nug. Her friend gave me a pretty big fat nug that was very colorful. To this day, I still haven't seen bud that was like that. It was very lime green with yellow and orange leaves, and then, you know, if you know chronic, you know chronic. So anyway, And my mom thought it would be a good idea while we were there for her to take 2 perk 30s, like 30 to 45 minutes before we ended up leaving. Now, if you don't know why this is a bad idea, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Sorry, I'm still trying to learn how to talk with my new teeth. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. She has a tolerance for opiates and drugs in general, so she probably thought she was gold. But these are perk 30s we're talking about. Percocet, 30 milligrams, fucking pretty hardcore. To a normal person, if probably anybody listening to this were just to pop a perk 30, you'd probably pass out and wake up 18 hours later like, what the fuck happened? They're that strong. So my mom took 2, and they were perk 30s, right? They weren't. Maybe they were Oxy ATS. Either way, now that I'm thinking about it and recalling the story, I'm pretty sure they were Oxy ATS, which is even worse. Because thinking about it, perk 30s wouldn't have really done what this did to my mom. So yeah, Oxy ATS, those little weird colored, weird shaped Oxy ATS that are almost impossible to cut in half with a semi-truck. She took 2, 30 to 45 minutes before we leave. We start leaving. We leave her property, go down the driveway. We start going down this back highway in Port Orchard. Just, out there, trees everywhere. Something you don't see in Missouri. So we're just vibing. It's summer. The sun is shining. Everything's good. I just smoked a bowl. I'm feeling good. And my mom's like leaning towards the wheel, like really trying to focus on the road. She's like almost got the wheel in her chest. You know how people drive like that, like hunched over. And I didn't think anything of it at first, and we just kept going, you know what I mean? And then she started swerving a little bit, and then like I look over at her and I realize she's fucking passed out. She just clonks out, head hits the window and she's out, bro. And we slowly, like her foot wasn't on the gas. We slowly decelerate, and I grab the wheel and I kind of just, slowly pull us off the side of the road into this little embankment. And I fucking pulled her over by her hair and her fucking shirt into the passenger seat. And this was actually the first time I ever got to drive this car. So I was actually really pumped. I was like, fuck yeah, my mom's passed out. She's high as fuck. I'm going to get to drive. This was the first time I've driven probably in a really, really, really long time. So I was super, super excited. And so I get her in the passenger seat, and I get in the driver's seat, and I start to get really fucking nervous. I'm high. I'm only 14. My mom's passed out, possibly overdosing on Oxycontin. I don't know. And I take off. I mean, I had to adjust the seat and adjust the steering wheel. But then I take off, and then I realize I have no fucking idea where I'm going. I don't know these back roads. I kind of just was in my head on the way there. So I started to get a little bit nervous, maybe a little bit scared. I started driving around. I was driving around for like 45 minutes, maybe a little bit less, until I realized where we were and how to get back home. So I eventually got my mom back to Shane's trailer, which was, like I've said in previous episodes, literally just a fifth wheel parked in his parents' driveway. And I got her back there, and she was barely able to fucking like wobble as I like had her arms slung over my shoulders and kind of dragging her feet and her whole goddamn self into this fifth wheel. Sorry, I got something on my fucking lip. And I get her into the trailer. She lays down on the bed. Everything's good. She's sleeping. We're back home. We're fine. But she was asleep for 2 fucking days. 2 days. She didn't wake up for 48 hours. I thought my mom was fucking done, bro. I thought like maybe, something happened with like a weird chemical imbalance in her brain and she went retarded or paralyzed. So this was like 2006 or something. There was, like, I didn't have, you know, I mean, cell phones were a thing, but they weren't anywhere near what they are today. They weren't, you know, touchscreen, and, you know, it was like flip phones and shit like that, which I didn't even have one of those. I don't even think I'd seen a flip phone at that point, like, you know, in a legit way to use one. So I didn't have any way to get a hold of anybody or anything. So the first day, the whole day, I was kind of worried sitting there, nobody to talk to about it or anything. And then the second day, Shane showed up and he was like, yo, where's your mom? And I was like, passed out. But this bitch has been passed out for the last 2 days, my guy. And he started to freak out because he's a paranoid schizophrenic. So he started thinking the worst about everything and shit like that. But eventually she woke up, and I got way fucking sidetracked. But that's just a little piece that I threw in there. So, but fast forward some fucking time, and me and my mom used to go like on these adventures. Like when you're on drugs, especially the drugs we were on, and you're not sleeping and you're not eating and shit, you get into these weird states of mind where you're like constantly on the go, everything's an adventure, and you wind up in some really weird places and really weird situations. And this was one of those times where we ended up in this town that I fucking have never heard of, and I can't recall the name for the life of me. We were driving through this town. I remember this part, you know, vaguely. And we came to this 4-way stop, and there had been an accident. Some person walking across the street got hit by a car. And we were all high as fuck at the time. So we were sitting at this stoplight, and we're looking at this old man like laying in the middle of the road, bald head, blood, like a nice pool of blood underneath his head and shit. I don't know if he died or if he survived or what, but that's the only thing we saw because our light turned green, and then we, you know, fucking took off. And we found a parking lot to chill in for a little bit, and then we went inside this gas station, and we got smokes and stuff like that and a couple drinks. And I wasn't allowed to go in the store, but I had to sit in the car. And when my mom and Shane came back, I remember this part so fucking, it's so dumb. You remember those tacky fucking hats that you can find in gas stations still to this day? There'll be like fitted caps that say like New York with money symbols all over it, or some tacky shit like that. Big bold 420 across the front. He walked out with an all white hat like that for me. And he's like, "Here, man, I thought you would like this." And I was like, it was an all white fitted cap. It had like the shiny stitching. So it was like silver stitching. And money symbols all over it. Big fucking New York symbol on the front. And just so dumb and tacky. And at the time, I dressed like this. I wore skinny jeans, skater shoes, and I was usually wearing something like a fucking Led Zeppelin t-shirt or Pink Floyd or something with tie-dye. And I had really long hair, and I wore a fucking bandana on my head a lot of the times. I was like a hippie looking dude, kinda, you know what I mean? So what the fuck am I gonna do with this hat? Anyway, I remember that. We were sitting in the parking lot. He got me that hat. We're chilling. We meet these people because my mom's like a really good, she's got the gift to gab, you know what I mean? So she can like come up with a story off the top of her dome and make it believable to complete strangers. And even if you ask her questions like to try to legitimize her story, she'll just come up with things off the top of her head, and you're like, oh, okay, you are telling the truth. It's fucking crazy. And I guess that's where I get all my gifts of lying from. And we met these people. They were a really nice family. And fuck, what happened next? Because we were in the parking lot. My mom met them, and she ended up going and grocery shopping with them. at this weird fucking grocery store, and I don't know why. Nothing made sense when you're on those fucking drugs, and yeah, just nothing makes sense. Everything's like all mashed together, and it's really hard to explain. But anyway, we ended up, because at first she didn't tell them that she had a kid or a boyfriend with them, and I guess she got really fucking friendly with them inside the store, and they all came out to the car, and me and Shane were sitting there, and she introduced me to this like really clean cut family. Dude was wearing like slacks, tucked in shirt, looked like he had a military haircut, just short, and they had a couple kids, looked like, like a 10-year-old girl and maybe a 5 or 6-year-old boy, but they were dressed and looked like they had just left church. And they came over to the car and everything, introduced themselves and stuff, and the guy was like, yeah, your mom was telling us all about your guys' situation and everything, and I had no idea what to say, because I was like, I don't know what the fuck she told them, so I don't know how to respond, and if I say the wrong thing, that could blow whatever fucking cover she just made up. So but luckily they didn't really ask me anything stupid like that. So long story short, we ended up getting invited back to their fucking house. And it was really nice. It was like one of those really nice neighborhoods where everybody has a big, nice house and everybody's grass is cut and everything like that. Excuse me. Wow. That was inappropriate. Hang on. I need some fucking nicotine. Oh, yeah. Anyway, really nice neighborhood, and we were just out of place. I mean, my mom, she never looked like really a drug addict. She always dressed decent, like normal. She would just wear like white tennis shoes, jeans, and a black t-shirt. You know what I mean? And like looking at her from an outside perspective, you'd just be like, oh, that's just a normal tax-paying woman, I guess. And but me and Shane definitely didn't fit in this neighborhood. But we get there and we eat dinner, and we're like barbecuing in their backyard, and the kids are running around their pool that they have fucking like halfway built into the ground, and then the other like coming out of the ground is a like a deck that they built around it, like really fucking nice. I was chilling on their porch swing most of the time, eating fucking corn on the cob and green beans and shit, and kids running around the backyard, and everybody's having a good time and shit. And then we fucking leave. And, but before we left, a lot of other people showed up. Like, a lot of people. Fuck, I don't know how many people. Like, at least 20 or 30 people showed up. Like, a whole fucking backyard barbecue went down. I had no idea. And on our way there, I smoked. And, I didn't know I was going to, need to be kind of straight and not high, because I was going to be around all these new people that are clean cut, well dressed, well spoken, and very articulate. So it, was really fucking weird and awkward. But anyway, all these people showed up, people meeting people. I'm assuming it was just like something, I don't even know what you call it, but there was, most of the people there didn't know everybody else there. So it was really strange, and it was a really weird feeling, but it was inviting and comforting. And yes, you're probably thinking there was a lot of white people there. Yes, there was a lot of white people there. But don't get me wrong, there was a lot of Arab people there too. I don't know if that adds to the story or does anything, but the night goes on, and about 7:30, 8 o'clock, we say our goodbyes and leave. They send us off with a couple of plates of food. Everything's good, and they're like, stay in contact and blah 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 blah. We'll see you around the bend and shit like that. And we continue on in this fucking town. You know what I mean? We stop by another gas station, get some more smokes, because we chain smoke like a motherfucker. And we ended up in this Ross parking lot, which is funny because I have another story similar to this about Ross, Dress for Less. And anyway, we were in this Ross parking lot, and we were just like chilling, smoking, and kind of just twacking on shit. My mom was in the trunk going through stuff. Like, we had a ton of shit in the trunk to go through, so she was kept busy. And then we went to this Walmart, and we went to this Walmart parking lot, and it was about, I don't know, 11:30, midnight maybe. And we're driving around the parking lot, and we used to do this all the time. We used to drive around parking lots and like look on the ground for stuff like money. My mom always said that she would find like drugs, bags of drugs. She would like, I'd love to find a bag of dope on the ground. She's like, that would be awesome if that right there was a bag of dope. And it was just like a weird thing that we did. But we parked behind this Walmart, right? And my mom pulls out this fat ass ring of keys. And I was like, okay, it's just normal ring of keys my mom has. Because she would have a lot of keys all the time from a lot of different shit. And we're walking around the parking lot. I'm not really thinking much of it. Her and Shane are talking off in the distance. I'm just sitting, kind of walking in circles, smoking a cigarette. And then she opens this door, like this door that's like right next to the garden center or automotive or something like that. I think it was the garden center. But it was just, it looked like a fire exit, but it didn't have the fire exit like stuff on it, like the big red picture and everything like that. And they opened the door, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I thought, the store was closed. I didn't know it was still open. I was like, yeah. Because I didn't put two and two together that the store was closed, and my mom just opened the fucking store, opened a door to the store. I was just out of it thinking, okay, we're going to go shopping a little bit. And my mom like rushes me over. She's like, come here. And I get over there, and she's like, let's go in here and let's get some shit. And I was like, okay. Still not thinking that the store is closed. We go in, and it's dark as fuck. Like, there's a few lights off in the distance, but when we opened that door, we came into one of the back rooms. And this is weird talking about it because I work at Walmart now. So many fucking years later. And like I said, for legal reasons, take this story as you will. True or not, I'm just here to tell a story. And it was really dark. And we ended up in one of the back rooms, like a receiving. And it was really fucking hard to see. And so my mom has this little keychain flashlight. And she's like the lead. She's like going through, shining the light, barely able to fucking see anything because his keychain light didn't emit but like fucking 6 inches of light on the ground when you held it an inch away. So it was really hard to see, but we fucking maneuvered and got our way around. And then we ended up on the sales floor, like by, by like the crafts and stuff, crafts and fabrics, whatever. I'm trying to be like technical with what we call the departments now because I've been working at Walmart for so long. But yeah, we ended up by like the crafts section, and Shane like immediately went off in like a straight direction by himself, and me and my mom were still like creeping around, you know what I mean? And then she was like, let's go find Shane. And then Shane comes around this corner, and he has 3 bags, like 3 like camouflage bags. And we're like, what the fuck? And he's like, we can use these. And I don't remember the exact words he said, but I'm pretty sure it was like, we could use these for that or something like that. But he gave me a bag, and my mom and Shane kind of were doing their own thing. So I was like, hey, I'm going to go over here and see if, what t-shirts they have. So I went over to where the t-shirts were for people my size at the time. And I found a lot of cool t-shirts that I wanted. And I was like, yeah, I want these t-shirts. So I got my size. I folded them up all real nice and put them in the bag. And then I found a couple pairs of pants that I thought were going to be good, but ended up to not be good because back then Walmart didn't really sell skinny jeans and shit like that. They sold some old man Wranglers. So I ended up tossing those later. But I got a pair of shoes. I got this one pair of shoes that that I wanted before when I went into Walmart while it was open, and I was just shopping around. I saw these mid to high top, off-brand shoes, and I was like, oh, those are kind of cool looking for Walmart shoes, and I was able to cop those. I got my size, put them in the bag, and I didn't really take a lot. It was mostly clothes, some socks, boxers, and just shit that I really fucking needed. But my mom and Shane, dude, they had hella shit. They had like these packs of knives, flashlights from Sporting Goods, and fucking like these big giant battery packs that you fucking open up and they're filled with tons more batteries. And a lot of shit to just like tweak on. My mom had a lot of craft stuff. Like she got this big, it looks like a clear suitcase with a little handle, but it's just for beads, like bead organization and shit. Like thousands of fucking beads in this thing. And I was like, out of everything you could take was that. And so yeah, they had a bunch of fucking random shit, and it was good. I mean, it was a good time, and thinking back on it now is really, really weird, since I work for Walmart, and I've been working for Walmart for, 5 fucking years. And somehow, after everything, I mean, we were in there not very long at all. I think we were in there for like 30 minutes, maybe, at the most. Somehow, when we were going back out the door, I noticed that my mom had a bag of fucking change, like a Crown Royal bag that she brought. She had a Crown Royal bag just filled with fucking change. And I was really confused. I was like, why'd you bring that in the store? In my head, I didn't say that, but I was thinking that, like, why would you bring change in the store? Were you going to go fucking get some gumballs out of the machine and stuff like that? And, but no, it turns out she got the change from something. I don't even fucking remember. But yeah, we, I don't like telling stories that could incriminate myself, but this was such a fucking long time ago, and nobody even knows if it's true or not, so fuck you, you pussy bitch. Anyway, that's one of the things, that's one of the times that, it's the only time we had an entire Walmart to ourselves, but there have been many times where my mom had keys to stores that, management was supposed to have, not her, not anybody else. Only people that worked for the store should have had these keys. So there was plenty of times where, we had keys and we could, get in other rooms or, shit like that, which was pretty hard to do during, business hours. But anyway, this was a really memorable one because I'd never been in a Walmart that was closed before. And especially being able to just, have free roam pretty much. And so yeah, very memorable. I think I'll remember that for the rest of my life. Like I said, take what you will from this fucking podcast. It's all just entertainment. So, but I do have a similar story about Ross that's a little bit funnier because getting into Ross was a little bit trickier than getting into a freestanding building because Walmart is its own, freestanding building on its own property, whereas opposed to Ross is usually connected to several other businesses in a shopping center. So it's a little different. And that's going to be a story for another episode. This is going on 28 minutes, about exactly where I want it to be. And if you caught that at the beginning, yes, I got my teeth fixed the other day. It's been a long time coming, and I've been very self-conscious for about the last 10 to 11 years. I've, masked my smile, I've hidden my smile, and I've suppressed myself from a lot of things in life because of how I felt about my smile. So I've missed out on a lot. And I definitely missed out on a lot of opportunities and a lot of missed chances because my teeth weren't very good. And I can blame that on drugs. And also, I never really went to the dentist as a child. It just wasn't something that was available to me very often because, I was kicked out at 14 and, after that, it was just like all fucking downhill. And I never really went to the dentist growing up. I did a couple times, but once I started getting into drugs, I never did. And drugs will do it, bro, especially smoking meth. So stay away from meth. Stay away from any drugs. Go get you some THC or some psilocybin, some DMT, some whatever psychedelics you fuck with. Expand your mind to what the universe is, to what this world and what this reality actually is, and realize that there are higher dimensions existing all around us that we just can't tap into because we live in a fucking 3-dimensional world and we've grown accustomed to and evolved to only know a 3-dimensional world. So go take some psychedelics. I guarantee you your life will change for the better. Only if you do it in the right setting. Do it with the right people, right setting, right time of day. Don't do it when you're in a bad mood. But anyway, that is the episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And I just want to give a quick shout out to everybody that listens to this podcast and everybody that's downloaded my last 2 episodes from Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Deezer, all my other platforms that my podcast is on. I just want to say I appreciate the fuck out of anybody who supports this podcast. This is my life, literally. This podcast, and it's literally my life that I'm putting into the episodes. So it means more to me than you guys can ever fucking know. I think right now I'm up to 15 downloads, and that doesn't sound like a lot, but you got to remember that I'm coming from only posting on YouTube and getting like, anywhere from 1 view to maybe 6 views all together, and that's just views, not downloads and shit. So and plus my podcast is being listened to in France and in Canada. And I got a few downloads in Texas. So we're making our fucking way around the country, making our way around the globe. And I don't intend to stop and only go up from here. So I promise the episodes are going to get better from here on out. And I just appreciate the fuck out of anybody listening right now. So like I always say, every episode, go grab your mom. Go grab your dad, pull them in close, tell them that you love them. Tell your dad thank you for coming inside your mom, because you have a chance at this life now and you get to experience the world and exist in a crazy fucking universe. And you never know when you're going to go get in your car to go pick up a gram or 2 and get hit by a fucking semi and never see anybody again. So make sure you live in the fucking moment. Tell everybody that you love them. And until next time, you already know what this is and who this is. I love the fuck out of you guys. Peace.